Welcome to A Drink of Wisdom with Jay Wise and Nathan Drinkard. I'm your host, Cody Ward. Thanks for spending some of your time with us tonight. As a reminder to all our listeners, besides being on all your favorite podcast platforms, A Drink of Wisdom is also on YouTube with each show segment available. Head on over. If you like what you hear, well, we'd appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. What's going on, guys? Happy Friday.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I want to wish everybody a happy Independence Day. I know we're a bit early, but still want to get that out of the way. And but you know what it is? It's the drink, it's the wisdom, and it's the beard as well. Let's get it.
Let's talk some sports, baby. Hey, happy 4th of July to everybody. You know what it is. We up in the building. Let's roll, baby.
Let's do it. In episode 79, the NBA bubble schedule is set. Some players still aren't sold on the bubble. And could we see a second NBA bubble take shape? Well, we're just bubbling with excitement to tell you about it. But first, Kate, we begin tonight with a long-awaited NFL free agency signing. Former NFL MVP Cam Newton is heading to the New England Patriots on a one-year deal. Newton was released by the Panthers in March after the team elected to go a new route with Teddy Bridgewater and new head coach Matt Rule. Newton took considerable time letting the free agency frenzy sort of come and go. The one-year deal is only for his minimum salary of $1.05 million, but does have some incentives up to $7.5 million. Newton figures to start soon, if not right away, over Brian Hoyer and Jared Stidham. So, Drink, this news surprised some and was kind of expected by others. So, what's your reaction to Newton's signing, and does this radically change your expectations for the Patriots in 2020?
Well, as far as the reaction go, here's the deal. Like you said, we talked about this numerous times in the past. It was only a select few places Cam Newton was going to end up because a quarterback of the caliber of Cam Newton ain't going to be a backup. Let's be real. You ain't signing him to be a backup. It's just not happening. And so when you took that out of the equation, especially after the Chargers went and drafted Justin Herbert, as you remind me, you know, my thing was I thought he was going to end up with the Chargers. They drafted Justin Herbert, and I still think he could have ended up with the Chargers because let's be real here, it's Justin Herbert. But, hey, here's the deal. He ends up with New England. So the signing is not as much of a surprise to me, even though I do think to follow on there'll be some issues, but the signing is not a surprise. And I think that's pretty much where we thought he would end up, and that's where he landed. Now, as far as the expectations, you damn right this changes things. Listen, you went from possibly the worst quarterback situation in the division to the best quarterback situation in the division. Here's the deal. There's no way you're going to convince me the duo Jared Stidham and Brian Hoyer was better than anything else that was in that division. Let's be real here. It's just no way. I'm looking at these cats. I'm looking at the career stats. Listen, you just weren't going to be able to do it. You would have had to drug me or something to get me to believe that one. But now you bring in Cam Newton. It ain't even close. You got the best quarterback in the division. What you going to sell me on Sam Darnold's future? Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. You gonna sell me up? Don't even get me started on Josh Allen. The way he let me down last year. Don't even get me started. I feel like a disappointed dad over here with Josh Allen. Don't even get me started on him. And then you know what we got in Miami. We got the old Ryan Fitzpatrick, the fantasy king, but can't really get you nothing in reality. And then they got Tua in the back. So you put all that together, you're like, hey, man, the Patriots going to really be in a tough spot this year. And then here come Cam Newton to the rescue. All that and some. So, listen, the signing is incredible. Now, here's my thing about the expectation. The team should be better. I think Cam Newton alone, you look at Vegas, he got to be worth about 3 or 4 wins. Just signing Cam Newton gets you about 3 or 4 wins when you put it with that defense. What I'm very interested into seeing now is who breaks, who bends to who, because somebody's going to have to bend. You're not going to tell me you could bring in MVP Cam Newton with the style that he played at his height, mixed with the way Bill Belichick want to do things, the way Josh McDaniels want to do things. I know you said something about Jacoby Brissett earlier, the 4 or 5 game stretch. Jacoby Brissett ain't no Cam Newton. And I'm just saying this. I'm going to say it like this. Jacoby Brissett was a quarterback that at the time, no one knew who he was unless you was an NC State fan. He came in. He did exactly what you wanted him to do. He played his 5 games, and he made the most money for himself in those 5 games. it's a little different dynamic here, though. You're talking about a former Heisman winner. You're talking about a former MVP. You're talking about a guy that was playing in the Super Bowl. It's a little different. He got a little resume. So it might be some things that Bill and Josh want him to do that he can nah, I'm not doing that. I'm good on that. No, I'm good. Or it might be some things he want to do that Bill and Josh say, I don't know, they don't really fit what we're trying to do around here. So I tell people this, like, I got reservations because I kind of feel like something similar to this with the Cleveland Browns. I always say this. One signing, there it is. That's sign, seal, and deliver. They the favorites, this, that, and the third. Now, I got to see this play out a little bit. I got to see who adjusts to who, or how do you make this dynamic work. But I'll be a doggone fool to sit here and say New England don't look like a way better team with Cam Newton behind the quarterback. And listen, I don't want to steal Jay Thunder, but we know who the starting quarterback is. Like right now, if they got to get rid of a quarterback, like you have to ask yourself, if New England had to cut a quarterback right now, would it be Cam Newton? I absolutely doubt it. I really doubt it. He'll be the one that get cut. Brian Hoyer, it was good knowing you. You're out of here. Like that's just the bottom line. So, yeah, it definitely changes things. The offense is going to have to change. The defense probably going to have to change to the liking of the speed of the offense is going to be different. And this is what what I mean by that is you used when they had Tom Brady back there. Tom Brady play a more slow, methodical type of game. So your defense might get some – not last year, Tom Brady, but you get what I'm saying. Like, when he back there, you get a slow, methodical game, and, you know, the defense get a breather, boom, boom, boom. Cam Newton might play a little more up pace. He likes to run the ball. You know what I'm saying? He's the home run king. He want to throw it down the field. You know, you mess around with Cam Newton, he gets a good connection. He one of those guys that two-play drives. You know what I'm saying? Because he loves to throw the deep ball. Now defense coming back out there. That's a dynamic that I really didn't want to get into. I just want to throw that out there. But, I mean, if this works, and everything that I said happens in reverse, they actually do get along. They actually do change the scheme. Cam Newton don't come in there talking about I'm Cam Newton. Well, this is over. Listen, right now, as we speak right now, I tell you, I have Buffalo as the favorite. Not because of Josh Allen. Let's be real. But I have him as the favorite because of everything around Josh Allen. When you go from Sean McDermott to the defense, to the running backs, to the wide receivers, to the offensive line, everything around Josh Allen to me is phenomenal to get you to the next level. Can Josh Allen get to the next level? That's what we got to see. But until I see Cam take over the division like we think he's going to take over, I got Buffalo as the favorite. But before this, yes, to me, New England was the walking mat. They was my Fitzpatrick was going to be, you know what I'm saying? Like that, Fitzpatrick was going to do him bad. You know what I'm saying? I felt like even Sam Darnold was going to be out here, oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? But now, Cam Newton, they changed that up. So I got to put some respect on their name. But to answer your question, my reaction was pretty meh on the signing. And, yes, expectation has really ramped up. I'm pretty sure the Patriots have moved up in odds this year for the 2020 season.
After Tom Brady left in free agency, it became pretty clear very early that the Patriots made the most sense for Cam Newton when we also knew that the Panthers were also heading into a different direction. And the two teams that we referenced quite often were the Chargers and the Patriots. And we know what happened with the Chargers. They wanted to hit us with, oh, yeah, we got Tyrod Taylor, we'll be fine. And now we got Justin Herbert. So it really, in terms of starting positions, the Patriots were the only option. Everyone else had their own had a veteran that was just entrenched in their job, or a young gun they were moving forward with. And the only surprise to me is that it took this long. This is one of those things where you look at just the brilliance of the Patriots and Bill Belichick. They waited so long that if this was a move they made prior to the draft, you would think this would have cost them more money. Now they got him on the absolute dirt sheet. They did throw in a whole bunch of incentives for him. But you get a guy who was an MVP 5 years ago, and you're paying him $550,000 guaranteed. It's an absolute steal. And I understand why guys like Richard Sherman are saying this is just, abhorrent and ridiculous that you could get a league MVP for this amount of money. That's a different story for another day. But so the only the reaction or the surprise for me in my reaction is just how long this took, because we've talked about this from time to time. I think it's an absolute travesty that it took this long, because this is a guy who, from a talent perspective, I've got him right as a fringe top 10 quarterback, probably in the 10 to 12 range, I would say, just off the top of my head. And the only reason he'd probably be considerably higher if his health hadn't deteriorated the way it has over the past year and a half. But pending health, and that's a huge if for me. We got to see it. We got to see him on the field, and we got to see him healthy. But pending health, this is dramatically and radically shifted the balance of power to in the AFC East. If I put this in terms of betting, if I was a betting man, I would say before you had Cam Newton in the building, I would bet the Patriots as being the team that finished last in that division. That doesn't mean that'd be terrible, but I think the other teams have improved considerably to where it'd be very difficult for you to convince me that a Jarrett Stidham Patriots team would be better than anybody else in that division. But you get Cam Newton in there, and if the guy's healthy, the Patriots to me are the favorite in that division. I think the change, that single change in the quarterback room is that big of a deal. And I think the Bills point is a great point. Because I think the Bills are highly interesting with the improvements they've made. Josh Allen, you look at him, he's improved as well, but you still look at how erratic he is from time to time with his accuracy and his decision making. That's where the big advantage is right now for the Patriots, as we look at them right now against the Bills. As much as we have respect for Sean McDermott, Bill Belichick still gets the edge in the coaching department, and Cam Newton gets the edge over Josh Allen. You can give the Bills advantages at many other places, and maybe perhaps all of them. But I would also say this. Yeah. I posed this to Drink earlier. When we talk about Cam Newton and we look back at his career with the Carolina Panthers, you would be hard-pressed, and this will probably shock most people. You will be hard-pressed to look at the Carolina Panthers receiving corps and show me a group of receivers that are better than what he has right now when we talk about Julian Edelman, Mohamed Sanu, and N'Keal Harry. And that is probably a shocker to people, because last year we were talking about how no one could get open for Tom Brady. Things will be different this year, trust me, because Sanu and Harry are going to have full off seasons to get ready for a full season. Remember, Edelman was banged up from time to time last year. You had Sony Michel cleaning up his foot this offseason. Oh, don't forget about these two underrated guys. David Andrews coming back at center, James Devlin coming back at fullback. Those guys will matter in the running game. I think they get back to that this season. I think Cam Newton, it's not going to be a situation where Cam Newton and you see him all of a sudden not run the football at all. His legs will still be a factor, especially in the red zone. These are big deals to me. To me, the Patriots are the best team in this division.
Hold up. Bring that back. You know what it is. I gotta state something that we ain't stated yet, though. You named all those impact players. I got you. But you missed a very, very important position when it comes to this, and that's tight end.
That's right. And that's why I confined my comments to the wide receiver core. You're right.
Let's talk about this a little bit. Here's the deal. Cam Newton had the luxury of having one Greg Olsen his whole, tenure with Carolina. Pro Bowler, All-Pro, all that and some. If you wrapped up all three or all four of the tight ends that the Patriots have on the roster, they ain't give you Greg Olsen on his worst day. So right. What I think that matters, because when you're out of place and you're out of sorts, usually that's when your muscle memory or what you used to, that's when you rely on that. That's kind of like when you're doing something and you're tired, you're just kind of walking through it. You don't even remember you did it. It's just your body kind of carrying you, right? So Cam Newton don't have that right now. He don't have that guy, that blanket, man, I ain't feeling it today. Julian Edelman, yeah, but I think one hit, he's out of here. I honestly think he's about done. He's about at wit's end. He's tired of this bull crap. And Cam Newton is good for one of them joints over the middle a little too high. He needs some milk. That's going to happen.
That's tough.
So
You've got Julian Edelman as Brandon Cooks' cousin right now. That's tough.
no. See. Whoa. That before you put that on, right? Brandon Cooks is a walking concussion. But he's young and he's a walking concussion.
Okay.
Edelman is on the back end of his career. Like, he's getting old. That's what I mean by him. Like, he don't want to take too many of these hits no more. Like, I'm about to be out of here. His boy ain't here. He probably ain't as motivated as he once was. That's what I mean by him. Brandon Cooks, totally different situation. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's a disability claim right there waiting. But with no tight end on his Patriots roster, it makes me wonder, like, let me backphrase. They do got tight ends. With no good tight ends on his roster, it makes you wonder, like, what would he do with the Matt Lacoste and the Ben Watsons and all that. So that is a hole that I do think needs to be looked at when we talk about how phenomenal, and with the offensive line coming back, the running game being a running game, and this wide receiver core, I'm not arguing with that. This is by far the best wide receiver core Cam Newton has played with since he's been in the NFL. But he don't have the what he's used to when I look at that tight end. So that's one thing. If I'm New England, I look at that. Hey, David Njoku, he out there. I'm just saying, he asked for a trade.
Yep.
That's a big body guy you might want to look into.
Just about OJ Howard.
Yeah, absolutely right. I'm about to bring him up as well. But hey, just a quick counterpoint to your talk about the tight ends, and I don't disagree with the point about the tight ends. You could probably add up their career receptions, and they're probably not what Greg Olsen had in his worst season. I'd get the research department on that. But listen, couldn't you make the argument that, and this is not a knock on Tom Brady, but couldn't you make the argument that Cam Newton's mobility and ability to extend plays automatically makes every receiver and tight end better because they're going to have more time to get separation?
Well, that makes your offensive line better, to be honest. That makes your offensive line look good too. And it take pressure off the run game. Because now you don't have to, we got to run the ball this well in order to open up stuff. No. Cam Newton is a runner.
Yeah. I think some of that was the problem they were having last season. Like, when a guy like Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's adept at moving inside the pocket. That's not to say he can't move at all. But, generally speaking, you're going to have to go 3-step drop. Everything's going to have to be on time. Defensive backs knew that they pressed up repeatedly last season. Guys couldn't get open. It's going to be tougher for pass rushers to get on Cam Newton, again, assuming health. But it's going to be tougher for them to get on top of him. He's going to still have that mobility to get outside the pocket, extend plays. That's going to give all of his receivers extra time to get away from defensive backs.
Bill's going to call up Cleveland and get that third-round pick they lost in the filming scandal somehow and get Njoku. I want to bring up, we talked about it before the show real quick. Newton had that 8-game stretch in 2018 before he got hurt. He was under North Turner's new offense, and they were transitioning to a much more short pass-oriented game, similar to what Daniels and New England runs. Cam was 78. He had 78% adjusted completion, good for 7th in the league at the time. He was 10th in a passer rating. He is 15-4 touchdowns and interceptions. He was 12th. He had 12 sacks. Was 27th in the league, and he was pressured just 32% of his dropbacks. So, I think the Patriots offense might fit Cam more than some people would think. Because like you said, Drinking, the first thing you think of Cam Newton, you think, mobile, big rocket arm on him, but when he's been presented with these newer offenses, like y'all said too, when you talked about the age, the more he ages, the more he's going to have to transition away from that. This isn't going to be just super Cam running around, jumping over fools and whatever. Like, he's going to have to transition this kind of offense, and who better to put him in this system? When I brought up, you talked about Jacoby Brissett, I was just bringing up that they did go 3-1 with him during Brady's 4-game suspension for Deflategate or whatever that nonsense that was. They were 3-1. They beat 2 playoff teams, and they had to transition to a much heavier run-oriented offense. And we even see the Patriots at their best, they're running the football. With Sony Michel, Devlin, whoever else, they work that play action, the short pass, the running. That's when they're at their best. That's what they want to do. So I think Cam might transition better than some people could think. And I wanted to bring up his contract real quick. We were talking about the robbery that it is, that base salary of just $1.05 million, which is the minimum for someone with 9 years of service, only $550,000 guaranteed. He does have a $700K roster bonus per game, and the incentives are $5.75 million total. So you said $7.5 million if he gets up to that, which is robbery for an NFL MVP. Like Sherman took a similar sort of contract, when he did his own with San Francisco. Francisco, but it wasn't like this disparity. But that does give the Patriots a $4.24 million quarterback room, which is third lowest in the league behind Jacksonville and Cincinnati, who are paying all their quarterbacks and making less than $1 million per year. And for perspective, in the other way, Indianapolis currently leads the league with $47 million tied up in their quarterback room alone. So the Patriots somehow are spending the third least amount in the league with an MVP on their rosters, probably starting for them week 1. So if anyone thought that things were going to quickly change in the AFC East, maybe not so fast. I guess we'll have to see.